Good evening, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to another episode of Critique Corner with me, Daniel Parker.
And me, DB Fastbinder. And we've got a nice eclectic assessment, or excuse me, eclectic assortment, as we all. Man, I am tongue-tied today. We have an eclectic assortment, as we often do.
Yes, we do. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're new, what we do is we of course critique stuff. We usually will critique something new or newish, and then something older or classic. Although we've been kind of mixing it up a bit lately. We'll do.
It's kind of like, would we rather stick to our new and old guns, or would we rather pick something that we think we might have something to say about it? So
Yes, indeed, and as DB said, we've got a nice assortment of stuff, and we've also got a couple of our own things to review. But to start us off for tonight, we are talking about A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own, the 1989 question mark comedy classic.
90, 91-ish, yeah, somewhere around in there.
1992. Okay.
Oh, 92. Oh, wow, it's newer.
Well, you were the
than I
closest
thought.
without going over.
Yeah. So this movie is the true story of the what were the All-American Girls Professional Professional Baseball League. And so the crux of the movie is that in the early days of World War II, they basically had to stop, or I can't remember if they stopped Major League Baseball the problem was all the baseball players had to go fight in the war.
Right. It's the problem where you have a bunch of young, healthy men who, it's like you can't try to say, oh, no, I have a injury that stops me from enlisting
Yeah.
while you're a professional athlete.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and of course the professional athletes, they're going to be in great shape. Um but yeah, so because of that, some business owners decide to start another professional baseball league, this one with all women. And the movie basically centers around one specific baseball team, the Rockford Peaches. And of course, it's got a great cast of actors. I mean, you have the coach of the team is played by is Tom Hanks. He's playing in the movie. His name is Jimmy Dugan, but in real life, his name was Jimmy Fox.
I could see why they would change the name given the way they portray him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's a drunk and a womanizer.
Yep.
And but he is a Hall of Fame baseball player. I'll say that. He had the single season home run record for a little while before Babe Ruth broke it. Or somebody probably broke it in between those two. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really, baseball history is not really my thing.
Either way, he's in the conversation about
Yes.
greats.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And but he's coaching this team much to his chagrin, and of course he's really just doing it because he needs the money. But but then we've got our players, and mainly the two main players that the movie kind of focuses on are Dottie Henson, who's the catcher, and she's played by Gina Davis, and then and her sister Kit, who is the pitcher, and she's played by Lori Petty, who we saw previously in Point Break. She was Keanu Reeves' love interest in that movie.
She's also known as for her turn in Tank Girl, which the whole time I'm listening to her talk, I'm thinking to myself, okay, where have I heard that slightly irritating voice before?
Yeah. Yes. And then, of course, rounding out the cast, we've got what is her name? Oh yeah, May. All the way May was her nickname, and she's played by Madonna.
who
And
who gets third billing over Lori Petty, which is kind of unfair because Lori is a much bigger part of this movie.
yes, yeah, but Madonna was the bigger name. You know. um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then of course you also have Rosie O'Donnell playing Doris Murphy, and I should probably note real quick that it was actually this movie where Rosie O'Donnell and Madonna became really good friends.
Hmm.
And she also got to be really good friends with Penny Marshall, who was the director on the movie. um, and yeah,
For Simpsons alums, there's also Harry Shearer does a couple of announcer voices through the movie, and
yeah,
also John Lovitz plays the talent scout, who I wish he was in the movie more. He was great.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he does that 1940s, tucking. Oh, hey,
Yep.
he
Uh,
does that really
uh,
well.
uh,
Yeah,
like he leans over, like leaning over somebody to look out the window of a train. Excuse me, your knees in my lap. Do you like it?
yeah. Yeah, he's chit chatting with a guy on the train, and he's telling him about his job, and he's like, "If I had my job, if I was you, I would have ended myself."
God, every train ride they put me with an idiot like this or
Yeah,
something like
Uh,
that.
and
But
yeah,
the core of the movie is a sister conflict between Gina Davis's Dottie and Lori Petty's Kit, who are sisters, and Dottie's I think somewhat newly married,
yeah,
and and Kit puts it later in the movie, whenever you're around, it's like I'm not. Yeah,
yeah,
and Dottie is like the wunderkind. She is the super talented baseball player.
yeah, yeah, and of course, you know, you look at her, you would kind of picture her as a professional athlete or a baseball player because I mean she's tall,
Mhm.
um, and obviously very athletic, she's her knowledge of baseball is really good.
Yep. Where Kit, she does look like an eternal little sister.
Yeah, yeah, and hey Argos, good to see you. And
Hey, man.
I forgot about that. Yeah, she was the voice of Livewire on the Superman cartoon.
Okay, that's also where I know her from.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Um, but yeah, yeah. So you've got this budding rivalry between the two sisters, and of course the crux of the movie is basically just them playing through this season, uh, going through all the shenanigans you would expect from professional athlete, professional sports team like this to do, um, and of course the other there's another subplot in there too where the guy who was his name Lowenstein. Um, he is basically working behind the scenes to try to keep the league going because the the owners who started the league are basically just kind of seeing it as a one and done because they're like, oh, the war's probably going to be over here pretty soon, and they're going to be back over and going to
Right?
start
We
baseball
don't we
again.
don't need a women's league once we have the men back. That's crazy.
Yeah. um, and but yeah, and then but yeah, it's I mean it's very good. It's a great sentimental comedy. The performances are really great. Obviously, the standout's Tom Hanks. Uh,
Yes, he made this movie.
yeah,
Uh, and it's a weird role for him because I don't usually think of him as playing a huge jerk like that.
no, you don't. Yeah, he's always he's got that reputation or that image of being the nice guy. Yeah, and so it's yeah, it's a little strange seeing him playing an alcoholic womanizer who
And doing it so well.
yeah.
I would say this movie plays in the same league, uh, actually unintended pun there,
Yeah,
as things like what's Major Leagues,
yeah, Major League
what was that
Slapshot.
football Slapshot,
Oh, the football, longest yard.
Not the longest. Well, okay, somewhat similar to the longest yard, but there was like this worst one we watched with Scott Bakula in it.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
I mean, when the best part of that movie was the performance by Sinbad. You know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Necessary Roughness. That's it.
Mr.
So,
Okay, yeah.
so it's in that same sort of not entirely family friendly sports comedy where you just take a gaggle of weirdos and throw them together. I would say that this is in the upper echelon of that genre.
Yeah.
Because it does a pretty good job of keeping the emotional core of the story. It's pretty in focus. And also just like every actor has some sort of good moment. I would say Madonna is kind of a weak spot, but I get it. She was there to try to boost up the movie in 1992.
Yeah.
But like she's fine.
Yeah, she was all right. Yeah. And oddly enough, Rosie O'Donnell was actually funny in this movie, I thought.
Yeah, she was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, you say what you will about Rosie in other aspects of life, but she can bring it when she wants to.
Yeah. This movie came out at the time when people actually liked her. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a really great movie. I'm glad Netflix recommended it to you because I hadn't seen it in a very long time.
And I hadn't seen it before, but it was always on my to-do list.
Yeah. Yes, and of course, as a reminder that the great line from the movie, "There is no crying in baseball."
There's no crying in baseball.
You missed the cutoff, man. We'll work on that next year.
Yeah, strong recommend. If you even like some of those movies we mentioned, you'll like this one too.
Oh yeah.
I literally cannot think of a transition. So Daniel is caught up with the newest and I'm assuming last season of Only Murders in the Building.
I hope not because it ended on a cliffhanger.
Okay.
At least one more. Though I think they're going to do at least one more season. It sounds like Steve Martin was putting it on Martin Short because he said something like, "Well, when Marty wants to stop doing it, we'll stop doing it."
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yes. So I got caught up on season 5 of Only Murders in the Building. And it just occurred to me that I haven't reviewed any of the other. We haven't. Well, we reviewed season 1, I think, kind of.
And I think you might have talked about one of the seasons in between, but it's a long running show, and we do a lot of these episodes. So
yeah,
I wouldn't swear on a stack of Bibles that I'd done it.
Right. Yeah. But yeah. So this new season, which I think it dropped back in September, but I finally got around to watching it. Like if you've been watching this show from the beginning, which I will say, of all the streaming shows that are currently going right now, this one has the most consistent release schedule because I think it dropped. I think the first season premiered in 2020. So it has been, or 2021. Okay, so it has been going for 4 or 5 years. So it's actually like a consistent schedule, unlike shows like Stranger Things, which takes 3 or 4 years to do a season to go from one season to the next. But of course, the age of the two lead actors might have something to do with that.
Yeah, that's why I kept. I guess every time I hear that there's a new season coming out, I assume, well, that's got to be the last season. Well, that's got to be the last season. Well, that's got to be the last season.
Yeah, because Steve Martin, I think, is pushing 80. He's right at 80. Um, and Martin Short, I want to say, is mid 70s. Let me look here real quick.
While Daniel does some quick research, if you want to support us, go ahead and give us a quick like on this stream.
Yes, thank you. Yes, of course.
And or replay, because
Yeah.
we actually have seen a nice upswing in viewership. Because I'm not going to lie, there were a couple of months there where our streams were getting like nothing, and then we were getting like low single digits on some of our episodes. So I don't know if I managed to improve my thumbnail game, or if the algorithm giveth or taketh. But
I have no idea. Yeah.
So thanks for watching, and again, if you're enjoying yourself, go ahead and show us a little bit of thumb love. Wait, no,
Yes.
that sounds awful. I'm sorry.
Well, we knew what you meant. But Martin Short's 75. So
Okay.
yeah, I was right. But yeah, so if you've been watching this show from the beginning, it has the formula where someone who either lives in the building or is in their building. So they live in this. So there are three main characters. Charles, who's played by Steve Martin, he's a has-been TV actor. He was on a cop drama in the 90s called Brazos. And then you've got Oliver, who's played by Martin Short, and he's a failed theater director. And then Selena Gomez's character, Mabel, she's like a listless millennial. But in the first season, they come together because of their shared love for true crime podcasts. And then when one of Mabel's friends in the first season is murdered in their building, they decide to investigate it, and hence where they get their podcast, Only Murders in the Building. And the whole thing shtick is that they only talk about murders that happen in the Arconia. That's the name of their building, which is in the Upper West Side. And it's usually either a resident of the building or someone who happens to be in the building. But this season, it of course picked up where the last season left off, where the building's doorman Lester was found. They found him dead in the fountain in the courtyard of the building. This was right after Oliver, Martin Short's character, gets married to Meryl Streep's character, who she showed up in the third season. So they're looking into. At first, the police say that Lester's death was actually an accident, but they're not buying it. So for those of you who are wondering, Oliver is kind of a cheapskate, so he had a bunch of the cocktail shrimp from his wedding brought up to his apartment, and of course, as he's going through the shrimp, there's actually a severed finger in there. So they're like, "Oh my god, what the hell is this?" And so they have to figure out who's the finger belonged to, and of course, through the course of the investigation. I think it was in season 2 or season 3. They found out that the Arconia has like all this system of interconnected hallways where you can like slide into different apartments everywhere. This season, they discovered that there is an underground casino underneath the building, and it's being run by this mobster named what was his name? Let me look up that. It's a very Italian name. At the end of the previous season, his wife, who was played by Téa Leoni, shows up and asking for their help to look for him. But they're like, "Oh, well, we only look at murder, things that happen in the building. We don't, we don't investigate outside of it." But then they, of course, they find the casino, and then of course, and they also find his body in the. He owns the dry cleaner that's in the building, and his body's in the dry cleaner. God, what was his name? Let me see. It's like Karamuchi or something like that. Nikki Cachamelio. And so basically I won't give away too much from the season as they investigate it, but we have an assortment of new characters. So one of them is actually the mayor of New York, Mayor Tillman, who is played by Keegan-Michael Key of Key and Peele. And then we've got these a trio of billionaires who are basically the prime suspects. One of them is his name is Bash, and he's played by Christoph Waltz, who was in he's Tarantino. He's been in a few Tarantino movies like Django Unchained and Inglourious Bastards. He also played Blofeld in the Daniel Craig Bond movies. You've also got Camilla, who is played by Renee Zellweger, Bridget Jones herself, and then
Of Diary fame.
Yes, of Diary fame, yeah. And then last but not least, there's the young millennial guy who's the heir to Jay Fluke, who's played by he's like I think actually now that I think about it, his name's spelled PFLUG. I wonder if that's like a knock on Pfizer, because he's like an heir to this pharmaceutical company. He's played by Logan Lerman, who was in Percy Jackson, the Percy Jackson movies, and not much else from what I can tell. Oh, he was in Bullet Train. Oh, that's right. You remember the son of the bad guy that Tangerine and Lemon had to bring back, and then he gets killed?
Not very distinctly, no.
Okay, well, it wasn't a very big part, though. That might be why. But yeah, so they're the prime suspects, and the whole season is and it's the typical only murders in the building fashion, where you've got the three of them trying to solve this crime while dealing with some personal issues. Charles is trying out this. He becomes part of a clinical trial to test out a testosterone supplement, and of course he thinks he's just I'm now a strapping virile man, and of course dealing with his the fact that he keeps getting into relationships with very dangerous women. Like if you watch the previous seasons, that's just like a running theme with him. And then of course Oliver, he's he's a newly married man, but his wife is in New Zealand shooting a TV show. And then of course he's also gotten an offer from somebody to buy his apartment. Which is that actually kind of ties into the main plot of the season. And then and Selena Gomez with Mabel, she an old childhood friend of hers shows up, and she's now like this big famous pop star, and she's living in the penthouse on the top floor, and she's dealing with the inadequacies of being around her and everything. But yeah, it's got the usual, quirky, quick-witted humor of the previous seasons. I would say Martin Short is probably the character I like the most. Mainly just partially because he reminds me of my late uncle. Very similar personality, and
he feels like he'd be a great uncle, actually.
Yeah.
Not a great dad as seen in the series, but
yeah, he's very quick-witted, and he throws out these lines that just kind of like oh gee, just kind of like biting satire. And then he also he'll throw in these anecdotal stories about some celebrity he met or some somebody he knows, and it's just like, okay, well, where did that come from? But yeah, I mean, it's I would say like okay, so like I really liked season 1. Season 2 was a little bit of a letdown. Season 3 got better. And then season 4 was really good. I would say this isn't as good as season 4, but I would probably put it in there with season 1, or maybe season 3. It's there are a couple of moments here and there where it was just like a little. So the problem with some of these streaming services, their streaming shows, is that they'll always have like an episode in there that's kind of like filler, and it's and they're like there's at least one of those episodes in this season, which I kind of understand why they did it, but it kind of detracted from the main story a little too much. But other than that, it's a solid. The season was pretty solid, I think.
Now I wonder if they would actually ever end with a season of this without a cliffhanger, considering that's part of the tradition.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. Well, I mean, this season, like, it kind of seemed like they were like the plot in the season actually did have an out for them to end the show, but then they kind of did a Deus Ex Machina on it. So yeah, if they do end it, I don't know how they would do it. The only way I can think of would be like, like if one of them moved away, or one of them passed away, or something like that. But
Right.
yeah.
Right. I'm sure that this is a very comfortable project for them at this point.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's definitely the flagship show for Hulu. And if you ever listen to a Disney earnings call with Bob Iger, this is the show he constantly mentions all the time as being one of their great successes. So I my guess is Disney's gonna try to milk this show for as much as they can, for as long as they can.
God, can you imagine if one of the two did pass or have to bow out? You know that they'd be saying, we can get Jim Carrey on board, or just pick another aging actor.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, then it would be terrible, probably.
Yeah. So hopefully somebody over there has some dignity.
Yeah. Yes, let us hope. Yeah.
Well, speaking of hope, this isn't a full review, but I've played the first couple chapters of Dispatch, and I have some initial thoughts.
Okay.
So, Dispatch is a video game currently available on Steam and PS5. Got mine on Steam, and I picked it up because I just heard enough good word of mouth about it from both coworkers and YouTubers. This is basically a passion project of the writers. I believe that Moist Critical, the YouTuber, is heavy into it. But I haven't done too much research into the background of it. I don't know if he's just a voice or if he's like a driving force behind it. But apparently it started off life as, of all things, a live action TV show, or like an attempt to make one.
Yeah.
And then they kind of stumbled backwards into a video game. And the overall format of it, I'll talk about the structure of it first, is gameplay wise, it is half Telltale game and half This Is the Police. The Telltale game aspect is the classic, you're presented with dialogue choices, you make them, and Blonde Blazer will remember that, or things like that. And mixed in with some quick time games that I would say, top tip, they do not work well on a laptop with a trackpad when you don't have a mouse. Because there's ones where you're like supposed to like drag something at a slant, which not easy. Clicking things easy enough. Some of the puzzles easy enough. There's one I only failed because I didn't realize there was a time limit, so I was kind of poking around it a little too long.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like I could almost recommend just the cinematic, aka game journalist mode, just because I don't know that the actual like that aspect of the gameplay with the quick time events is actually adding much to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that with the Telltale games. Yeah, because I played the Batman ones, and yeah, they'd have these quick time events in there. They were just annoying as hell.
I would say the Batman ones were like when they were on their in their downfall mode.
Uh,
Um, if I was going to recommend any of them from what I've played of them, I would say that you want to definitely try The Wolf Among Us,
mm,
which is based on the Fable comic book series, um, and also the at least the first couple of Walking Dead games are good.
okay, okay.
Now, the other aspect of this one is it's like I said, it borrows heavily from this video game called "This Is the Police," which I played with some buddies a few years back. It's actually that one is actually a great time because uh, you're basically playing a police dispatcher, and you have a stable of officers, and you have to decide as crimes are emerging which officer has the best skills to handle each situation. It's like who do you send to go talk about not doing drugs at the local elementary school versus who do you send to go deal with a armed robbery in progress.
Ah,
And of course, as the game goes on, the difficulty escalates, and you find yourself having to make some Sophie's choices.
oh, mm. Those are
Uh,
always fun.
yeah, there was one where we had to like. So I was playing with some buddies. Like I said, we were just like sitting around the Xbox doing it live. We actually went back to an old save point because we basically ended up with our entire squad getting wiped out by some RNG.
Oh, jeez.
I haven't seen signs of it being quite that complicated. After a couple of chapters, I would say that it is easier than This Is the Police, but I also know I'm only on chapter 2 out of 8, so it's going to escalate.
Yeah, yeah.
So gameplay wise, it mashes together two familiar genres to make something. I would say the two parts don't necessarily feel like they have a lot to do with each other. I would almost prefer a purely dispatch based game for and a purely story based game, but
Yeah.
what's here is good. What's here is good. So now that I'm done talking about the structure, let's talk about the actual game itself.
Yeah.
By the game, I mean the actual story itself. It's got a neat starting premise. You have this guy named Mecha Man, aka Robert Robertson, the third, who who is the grandson of a Silver Age superhero whose dad was a superhero up until 15 years ago when he was killed by this villain named Shroud, who looked, to my mind, looks suspiciously like Reaper from Overwatch. And he even has the backstory where he used to be a member of the Justice League equivalent before betraying them.
Ah. Ah.
But I will say that it's not like superhero knockoff parody stories are super creative and innovative anyway. Like you can tell who's supposed to be Superman, you can tell who's supposed to be, you know, this character or that character.
Yeah.
Um, and the main character is basically Iron Man, except that his suit is it's designed to like ride in and has a cockpit, so it's almost like a smaller mech from BattleTech slash Mech Warrior,
Okay.
and he's in hot pursuit of a villain when he gets ambushed, and in the course of things, the suit gets damaged outside of his ability to repair. And at first, I thought, why is outside of his ability to repair? Like, shouldn't he know how this works after being a superhero for 15 years and using the suit all the time? Well, the answer is he's basically burned through his whole inheritance and savings trying to keep this superhero thing going.
Ah. Mm. Mm.
And so after this, he gets approached by Blonde Blazer, a sort of captain, or excuse me, a Ms. Marvel, as in the Carol Danvers Ms. Marvel, aka the good version of the character, as hero, and he gets invited to this dispatch place. And you basically find out that you've been assigned what amounts to the Suicide Squad. You have a bunch of ex-villains who have been recruited by this organization to go out there and try to do some good. And So you have to balance everybody's personalities, talents, figure out who's who, and who, and also you have to deal with some personnel issues like you would expect with a bunch of supervillains.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the gameplay and how it interacts with the story, you can choose how much of a jerk you want Robert Robertson to be, because, like, I'll do one minor spoiler. There's a scene where you're attacked in a bar by a guy who has fire powers, and now Blonde Blazer, because of her super metabolism, basically has to chug down Everclear to even feel a buzz.
Oh. Oh.
So there is a glass of pure alcohol sitting on the table in front of you, and you have two options. You can either try to douse his flames with water, or you can douse his flames with fire, with pure alcohol.
Oh.
So it's like, how much do you want to actually hurt him?
Yeah.
I chose the water because I decided I'm going to play him as an actual like heroic person.
Yeah.
What's really I'm not going to talk too much about this, but it's like what I've heard about the design process. It sounds like some of the aspects of the game that the fans are resonating with were kind of included as an afterthought, and the creators were kind of surprised that everybody was interested in romance and that they liked Blonde Blazer so much, and that they weren't choosing to be a jerk very often, like just on the metrics.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that a creator doesn't always know what they have created. I would say there's a YouTube channel called Archcast that has some videos about this topic if you're interested. So character-wise, let's see here. So a lot of the voice acting cast comes from Critical Role and other prominent YouTube people, and I would say by and large it's a good cast. There aren't really any clunker voice performances so far. Maybe a couple that are a bit on the nose for what you'd expect from the character, but you're also having to voice an entire cast of supervillains and heroes. So
yeah,
like not everybody's going to come up with the most original voice ever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of humor in it, and it runs the gamut from okay, that was good to I'm so sick of millennial writing. Like, want to guess how many times people will make fun of Mecha Man for being named Robert Robertson?
I'm gonna guess quite a few times.
Quite a few times. Guess how many times it was really funny.
Once.
Also, it's kind of puerile in some ways, to use a $10 word, $20 with inflation.
Yeah.
One character early on transforms into his super form and he's naked, and Robert just looks down and goes, "Nice dick." You can see the outline of it from behind.
Oh God!
Like it is very interested in body humor, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like the negatives against it. The positives, I would say, is that I actually am curious where this is going, because from what I have heard, it seems like it's like you would expect some of the characters to have secret motives, but they may not, ? So I'm definitely going to keep playing it. And I can't necessarily give a final judgment on it. I would just say that if you're like me and that sort of Marvel humor does bother you, it isn't like the first episode it's kind of omnipresent. Second episode, they back off and actually start telling a story, and it becomes much better. So
yeah, okay,
we'll see where it goes from
here. All right, yeah.
Don't let the bathos scare you off.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been curious about this game ever since it came out, and I saw people like on X and YouTube playing it, and I'm like, oh, it looked interesting, and I like the character designs, and so.
Oh, yeah, the character designs, I should say, the character designs are good. Everybody's design reflects the personality and skills of the character very well, like proper superhero design. Cough, Concord, cough, cough.
Yeah.
And also, like, everybody is appealing to look at in their own way. Like yeah, even like this the Batman who literally is a man with a bat head. It's a good design.
Yeah.
It is slightly hard to make totally original superhero designs at this point, but they did a pretty good job of not being too obvious in most cases.
Yeah. All right.
It currently costs $30 at full price. I think that if you have the budget and time for it, I would probably say it's like if the first two chapters are anything to go by, you're probably looking at like maybe 15 hours of gameplay.
Okay.
So I would say it's a fair price, but we know that it's going to go on Steam sale at some point. So you might just put on your favorites and see if it pops up.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
In fact, okay, so my only complaint about this, and this is really only an issue for me. So I'm an Xbox and PC gamer. So no Xbox version, but it is the type of game I would prefer to play with a controller if I had the option. So I plugged my my ROG Galaxy into my PC on a dongle. Works just fine for other games. With this one, I connect the controller, and it's like the game goes, press anything to continue. It's like, okay, I've hit every button. I know the button is connected because I can go elsewhere and open other games on my PC. So fix your shit.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Right. But that's enough. That's enough minor complaints. It's time to get on to major complaints with our final movie of the night, Face Off.
Face Off. I'm gonna take his face off.
He said the thing.
Yeah.
So Daniel, you were saying before the show that this movie took a while to make.
Yes, it did. Yeah, because so the movie came out in '97, and I want to say probably sometime like in the maybe '80s, early '90s. This movie was originally supposed to be a vehicle for Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, which it could have worked with those two guys. But as we were talking before, the egos of both stars probably would have gotten in the way of making this movie happen.
Right, because one of them would have to be legitimately crazy evil. They would both have to act as that crazy character at some point of the movie, and one of them would have to ultimately triumph over the other. So I think we concluded that that Stallone would have been better as the one who started off as the villain and then was the hero through most of the movie.
Yeah,
because that's more like his acting wheelhouse. Where I would have actually liked to see Schwarzenegger doing some of the creepy things once he becomes the hero.
Yeah.
Like he would have done a good job with it. But I can also see why neither of them would want the stink of that character's actions on them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because he's evil. Yeah.
Yeah. This was also a John Woo movie.
Yes, and John wooed all over it.
Yes. There was some scene, and I won't say exactly which one, where they pan to the ground and there are just some doves indoors for some reason. It's like, oh, you couldn't help yourself, could you?
And guys jumping through the air firing two guns.
Yep. So definitely that John Woo action that the people love.
Yeah.
But it's okay. So that's kind of our preamble on the story around the movie. Let's talk about the movie itself a bit. So, in what I have to assume is the not too distant future, based on the tech levels shown, you have John Travolta playing, what is it, CIA agent?
FBI.
FBI, excuse me. FBI. That's right, because he's working internally. Yeah. FBI agent Sean Archer, who's chasing down Nicolas Cage's Castor Troy, a terrorist who actually kind of reminds me a lot of Christopher Nolan's Joker.
He does, yeah, very similar. Yeah, and
the movie starts with a very melodramatic scene where Troy, in the course of trying to kill Archer, ends up shooting through Archer's body and killing Archer's 6-year-old son.
Yes. And then we flash forward 6 years, and Archer is just obsessively trying to get Castor Troy, and to the point where he's just a total jerk to everybody who works under him.
Yeah, he's extremely unstable. Like just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I have to imagine that somebody at the bureau would have said, you're taking some leave, man.
Yeah. He was like one of those like wind up toys. You wind him up and then let it go, and then it goes, and that's just. And, and of course, on top of that, he's neglecting his wife and his teenage daughter back at home. But then we cut to Castor Troy, and he's planning a bomb at the LA Convention Center that's going to go off in like 20 days. But then Archer catches up with him at the airport because he's Castor's flying with his brother Pollux, who is
which boy, Castor and Pollux.
Yeah.
Castor Troy and Pollux Troy.
Yeah.
Kind of on the nose there with the references.
Yes. Yeah, and we have this big chase shootout scene at the airport, and Archer takes down Troy, and of course he thinks Troy's dead, but in reality he isn't. He's actually in a coma, and of course they have to find where the bomb is, but Pollux isn't. The brother isn't talking. None of Troy's his associates are talking. This other FBI lady, what's her name? What was that? CCH Pounder shows up, and she's got this idea where if they want to get the information that they want, Archer has to become Castor Troy, and as the title of the movie implies, they take his face off and then put his face on top of him.
And that's like somebody. I feel like that whole part of the movie was somebody came up with this idea in a writer's room, and then somebody there who was smart kept like asking all the questions, like, well, he would sound different. Oh, they'll put a computer chip in his throat.
Yeah. Well, what about his body? Oh, we'll just sculpt the body, and right.
Yeah, we'll remove those love handles.
Yeah, and then we'll cut your hair back and dye it. But then you pointed out before the show, what about his eyes?
Yeah, I don't think they did anything for the eyes.
I don't think they did either. No.
That's the type of thing where it would make a little more sense in a cartoon, so because like you could smooth away those differences.
Yeah.
Well, what's really funny to me is that when they put the chip in his throat to make his voice sound like Nicolas Cage, they talk about how if you sneeze wrong or you take a hit to the throat, it could totally dislodge it. And I just can't. I kept like mentally keeping a tally of all the times when he got hit by more than a sneeze.
Yeah, or somebody was pressing against his throat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
So then he goes to infiltrate, and from there, I don't necessarily want to go too deep into the blow by blow of the story.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of predictable, because eventually Nicolas Cage wakes up and puts on John Travolta's face and pretends to be, screws his wife and is creepy with his daughter and just generally unpleasant.
Yeah.
Like again, that's where I was thinking to myself, okay, imagine if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger and you're like the height of your career, maybe the tail end of the height of your career. No, 92, still at the height of his career, and you're asked to play this creepy character who people might associate with you forever.
Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't want to do that.
Not a good time. Not a good
No,
time.
no.
John Travolta, though, 1997, perfect point of his, like, because this was after
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, right?
Yeah. It's after Pulp Fiction, before Battlefield Earth.
Right. His brief second golden age.
Yeah.
This was perfectly within his wheelhouse to be this sort of creepy character because
Yeah.
he had to come back in anything that was like family friendly or mainstream, so
Right.
he
Yeah.
could get away with this.
Mhm.
It is much more Nicolas Cage's movie, though, and boy,
Yeah.
he is Nicolas Caging at 11 out of 10
Oh
this
yeah.
whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a scene where he gets high, and he does the he does the wide eye thing.
Yeah, like Nicolas Cage is like one of the greatest actors of all time, saddled with like I guess a money problem, but also
Yeah.
like he swings for the fences every time, even when it's to his detriment.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's one thing you could say about him, he gives it his all and no matter what the movie is, no matter what role he's playing. Yeah.
And he definitely elevates this movie, in my opinion. John Travolta is okay, but like he's
Yeah.
he's never been the world's best actor.
No. He's Vinnie Barbarino.
He's all right.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was it's one of those movies. It is one of those like '90s action movies where you really have to turn off your brain and overlook certain plot holes.
Right. Like, wait, isn't the face connected by a lot of nerves and muscles and sinews, and you wouldn't just be able to like laser it off that cleanly? Hey, you've been told about thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every movie gets like, or every sci-fi premise gets one ridiculous ask, and they did everything in their human power to try to make it seem plausible that this lab could do that. Because like they have like a scene where they're rebuilding a human ear with lasers,
Right.
or something like 3D printing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and oh God, what was I gonna say? Well, the other thing too is the John, the whole John Woo aspect of it, where it was just like, you could tell like it was just going a little too over the top with certain stuff, um, including like kind of like the long drawn out action sequences, especially during the climax.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of church imagery in this movie.
Yeah, which I mean,
I don't know if it actually meant anything.
I don't think it did either. I think it was just a setting. Yeah.
You thought it looked neat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's it is what it is.
Lately, we've been saying like, boy, they don't make it like them anymore. They won't make it like that anymore. And it's like, okay, movies like this, I can kind of see where the next generation of like ironic detachment came from, because this was like being presented totally sincerely.
It was, yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, because like you said, like there were parts in the movie that were these melodramatic moments, where especially with the wife, that whole thing, and then and the daughter and all that stuff, and the tragedy of their dead son, and it's like, okay.
Yep. Yeah. And the ending is very schmaltzy, but again, it fits the movie.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I was actually thinking about it, and we were talking before the show, and when I was watching this movie again, and I realized basically everything that John Woo probably wanted to do in this movie and couldn't. He ended up doing in Mission Impossible 2.
which was known for being kind of bloated, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, even the climactic fight scene between the hero and the villain is almost exactly the same, except they swapped out boats for motorcycles.
Yeah, that boat scene was a bit much.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, he took out. They take out a whole bunch of police officers. He takes out a whole bunch of police officers with a machine gun and then flying through.
Yeah, it's just an absurd movie.
Yeah.
I know people who love this movie. So it's like I can give it like a partial recommend. It's like, okay, are you able to not ask questions and just enjoy the acting on display? Because again, Nicolas Cage does a very good job like he is exactly the sort of melodramatic ham that this movie needs to have life to it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And John Travolta puts in a good performance as I don't really like him when he's being Archer, but when he's Castor Troy under there, he does a great job.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, I prefer him as a villain as opposed to a hero. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I would say that too. Yeah, if you like dumb action movies and and you want to turn your brain off for a couple hours, give this movie
I've
a
certainly
watch.
seen worse.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah. Currently on Netflix.
So easy to access.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think we've said all we need to say for tonight.
Indeed.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it as always. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the bell, buy some books, and we will not be seeing you next week because it's Christmas Eve. So
yes,
Merry Christmas in advance, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. But
yeah, we'll probably just do a different night show for New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
it's very inconvenient of the world to schedule holidays on a Wednesday. How dare they?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Jeez. All right. Well, but we will see you when we will see you. Night, everybody.
Good night.